Good morning and welcome to the Global Travel Meet.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, India and the world.
Hello.
So welcome to Global Travel Meet 2020. We are attending session number 3, where we will talk to an expert panel on the subject local travel and domestic tourism. Without any further ado, I will take you to our esteemed speakers today. We have Nour Brahimi from Algeria today, who is a full-time traveler and a content creator. She is very popular for bringing a solo women travel revolution through her YouTube. We also have Engin Kaban from Turkey. He is a full-time travel blogger and author and a travel entrepreneur, and he is currently switching between Spain and Turkey running Hello Experto. We have Nikki Wang, co-founder of TheWaysBeyond Paris, where she and her partner have built a local travel business, curating unique experiences for travelers in Paris. We also have Reena Sachdev, a travelpreneur from Mumbai, India. She built her company Travel Arena from ground up in 2007 and continues to create unique travel experiences for users. So welcome, speakers. Thank you for your time in attending Global Travel Meet and talking to us today. I am Chandreyi, your moderator for the session, and I'll be talking to you all about local tourism and domestic travel, how it is becoming the new focal point for the travel industry. So welcome.
Thank you.
So to start with, we will do a little bit of introduction with everyone. So why don't you start, Nikki? I see you on the top, and why don't you start a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where are you from, and what brings you to Global Travel Meet today?
Right. So thank you very much for having me. I think I will take 1 minute to explain who I am and why I'm doing this. And another 2 minutes, I will show you a video that me and my partner, we made already, so that you can have a more visual understanding of TheWaysBeyond. So actually, I living in Paris for 10 years. I have Chinese origin. I grew up in an international environment. I grew up between China and Australia. And 10 years ago, I came to Paris actually to go to a business school. But the beauty of Paris is like a revelation to me. When I worked before, I worked always in finance. So I travel 50% of my time. So I feel like I am always traveling. And even when I'm living in Paris, I feel like I'm local because I know many things, I'm curious, but also like a passenger. So that gave me a look of an insider and an outsider. So eventually, when we think about Paris, we think about what? Paris is not, not Tahiti. It's not like Namibia, not Kenya, not Tanzania. It's not something like you're amazed by its nature or any adventure. It's that people are amazed by its culture, by its history, by the art of living. So one moment of time, I was asking myself, what is my real passion? So actually, my passion is travel and to share my knowledge to other people who come to Paris, because there are millions and millions and millions. So that's why I decided to quit my job in the corporate to create TheWaysBeyond, and a cultural tourism agency in Paris who focus on arts, design, cultural heritage, gastronomy, and the special French know-how. So I would like to share you a video that you can maybe better understand my starting point.
Sure, let's have a video.
And uncertain. 1 year ago, we quit our jobs to create TheWaysBeyond, the agency of cultural discovery in Paris, to reveal the hidden gems, French excellence, and know-how.
People might think we are crazy. A Chinese girl and a Belgian boy willing to organize cultural discovery in Paris and to show French people, but not only, things they have never seen before in their own country.
Maybe it looks a bit ambitious, but we have passion and determination. Our backgrounds are actually a strength, because sometimes we need to come from afar to fully appreciate the culture and the place, because we don't take anything for granted.
Seeing how France protects and transforms its cultural heritage was for us a revelation. It
Nikki, can you unmute yourself? We can't hear the video.
Support and confirmation from the press, our visitors, and our partners have proven us that culture knows no boundaries.
A lot of our clients are actually Parisians. We were commissioned to make a city guide for design lovers in Paris. We were even invited to the National Assembly and the Sorbonne University to discuss entrepreneurship in culture.
And people start to know our name. All this can only make us believe stronger in what we do and want to go further. But we have recently realized that we need help to involve more people, especially the ones who have not been touched by art and culture yet.
That's why we decided to launch Cultural Learning Expedition, a tailor-made service for corporates, institutions, and private groups, because they can mobilize more people all at once and convey that message.
We are determined to bring creativity and inspiration to more people, and with all of you, we will make it happen. Let art and culture communicate and connect.
Let it inspire and motivate.
Thank you.
This was very lovely, Nikki. Thank you for playing that video for us.
Thank you for watching it.
Thank you. So we move on to our next speaker. Engin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and what brings you here and what we are going to talk to you about.
Sure. Hello, everyone. This is Engin. I'm originally Turkish. I'm living between Turkey and Spain. And I have been working as a travel writer and blogger for the past 12 years. I have been quite a lot of places. Originally, I'm an engineer, but many years ago, I quitted my job as an engineer because I thought limited holidays were not enough to discover the world. So I became a full-time traveler and travel like professionally in the travel business. And right now I have a startup which is called a travel startup, which is Hello Experto. It is a community of travelers and travel experts. And the idea is to share the travel knowledge that we all have, because it all came from my own experience as an experienced traveler. Me and many people like all of you, we all know some specific things about specific destinations or topics, but it is difficult to transmit this information as a personalized consultancy to other people and also to monetize it. So the platform, it is a paid consultancy service, which you all can check at helloexperto.com. And as a travel expert, you can join and create your profile. And there I'm also trying to support and promote local tourism, which we'll be talking about soon. And yeah, that's briefly about me. And I'll be in the social lines. So if you want to catch up, you can find me on LinkedIn, on helloexperto.com. You can write me from there. And I wish we can create more like communities. There are already some existence ones, and I wish we can create more communities to help the knowledge be shared among people. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions later on.
That's wonderful. Thank you, and glad to have you here, Engin. Reena, moving on to you, why don't you take us through your journey with Travel Arena and tell us a little bit about what you do? You have to unmute yourself, Reena.
Okay. Unlike everybody, I was not into another field and discovered that travel is my passion. Travel is all I knew since I was 12. So I first time went on a trip to Europe for about 23 days, one of those group tours which just take you zip, zap, zoom through Eiffel Tower and Pisa and all of that. And I discovered that I love travel, but it's a bit fast. So by 15, I knew I wanted to get into travel, but a little slower, a little more experiential, where you feel a country better. And luckily enough, before I even completed my studies, I was a trainee with Kuoni as a counter staff, but on a similar line. So I realized that, no, this is not how travel is for me. But in a very short while, I was an assistant manager products. But by 23, I realized that I think I still want to do it slower. And I opened up Travel Arena at that stage because it was only experiential travel where at that point of time, around 12, 15 years back, one country, 12 days for an Indian was not the regular culture. But that's how we started. And today, it's accepted very widely. So I'm happy that finally, we are experiencing travel for the sake of travel and not just as a tourist anymore. So yeah, that's about it. This is all I know. Travel.
That's wonderful, Reena. We will definitely come back to talk a little bit more about slow traveling because that's something what's my favorite as well. Before that, we have Noor from Algeria. Thank you, Noor, for joining us. And I am quite a fan of yours. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what you do and why you do it?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nour Brahimi, so I'm the first Algerian female travel vlogger, which means I'm a visual content creator. I try to promote destinations with online video mostly, but like I'm also everywhere on social media and trying to understand how the algorithm also works with the travel industry. Recently, I started traveling in Algeria exactly, I think, a year ago. And I started promoting it as a destination for Algerians, but also for foreigners. And what I try to do is showing that you don't have, because one of the messages I get from my followers is that, oh, I'm a student, I don't have money to travel. So I try also to promote local tourism and tell them, you don't need a lot of money. There's amazing experiences in your own country, whatever your country is. And we usually take like the places we have here and granted. So I try to tell like there's a lot of experiences, local experiences, if you try to look to your country as with the eye of the tourist. And yeah, again, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely wonderful to hear your story, Noor. So thank you, everyone. And I will straight get into our discussion for the day today. So as you all know, and since you all run travel businesses, right now is a situation that travel businesses across the world are innovating and thinking about how to deal with the situation once people start traveling again, correct? So my first question is to Engin. I wanted to ask you, how and when do you see people opening up to travel post-COVID? And what do you think will be the first key few drivers of tourism when people start traveling again?
Well, we already see people starting traveling in a local way, mostly domestic, not getting out of their countries, or even within their country, mostly in the next village, to the next city, like within, let's say, 100 kilometers perimeter, which is totally what we were thinking about, what everybody was thinking about. And I don't see that we will be back to, like, as we say, normal, but there is what is normal. Yeah, there is no normal, actually. Everything will be changing. I don't see that there will be more like that much international travel as it was before until 1-2 years, because these things really take time to recover, and many people make their plans like 6 months ahead. So even if tomorrow there is no virus in the world, still people are not ready to pack their bag and go tomorrow. So it will definitely take time. And I see the most important point is that there is too many people on Earth that we already know. It's apart from traveling. That's the main problem. So with travel, I think the idea will be to go to unusual destinations and spread this quantity of people instead of going to popular places. It will be more widespread, and we will see it. There was already some tendency about that way before COVID, and I think COVID has just been accelerating things in a good way. I mean, apart from all the things that bad happening, but in terms of for a longer term, it will be changing things in a better way, I think.
Thank you, Engin. You have made a very, very interesting point. We will come back and discuss more on that. Since you mentioned talking about international travels, and I like this concept of what you talked about, dispersing people across destinations, right? So I come to you, Nikki, because you're working in Paris, and Paris is a destination which is very highly popular among travelers. And how do you see travel opening up, and what will be the key drivers for people to explore things which, like Engin said, like is not too crowded, isn't too full of people, things like that? What is your thoughts on this?
Okay, so actually, we begin to receive order from July. Or booking, when I mention order, we begin to receive booking again from July. And the only people who book our activities or our service are locals. When we say locals, we say local French, even local Parisians. They live whole life. I mean, they are French, they are Parisians, full stop. And they are local expats, which means the foreigner English-speaking people in Paris. And European from very nearby country, like Belgium, Netherlands. So this is basically Paris. Yeah, Paris is most visited city in the world. That's a fact. But even Paris now, we don't have a lot of tourists, basically because all the American continent still cannot travel for today. Like maybe today, because yesterday American announced now they can travel. But it doesn't come automatically like from overnight. And the main customer of Paris actually is all American continent and all Asian continent. But Asian, Pacific, and Australia and American, they don't come for the moment yet. That's why entire France tourism is only running thanks to the local tourism. This is a fact. And yeah.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why the agency who if an agency can propose something not the biggest site like Eiffel Tower, like Louvre, like Champs-Élysées, there will be more chance because local people, their need and their objective and their goal of the visit is not the same. It's more like I want to find something really off the beaten track. They want to find something authentic. They want something like a local, but they take many things for granted, but they don't actually know yet. Because I find that's a problem of being a local. Because you take so many things for granted. When I grew up in the Forbidden City in Beijing, I think I went inside the Forbidden City once in my lifetime. I don't even remember what I have seen. But when you're a foreigner, you try to really understand how is the Forbidden City, the history, so that's why we created a lot of different offer for local people, not because way before COVID, but it's not because I foresee will be COVID coming in. Nobody knew this. It just, we want to share a deeper knowledge of the city and something really unique. It's not like something really against the mass tourism or over tourism. Is something people haven't known yet, and something is a surprise. And this is exactly what is needed now. And this is for Europe. Is totally we rely on local tourism.
That's quite interesting, Nikki, to hear that people are looking things in their own city and Parisians who have not yet explored some unique things. So that's really promising. I wanted to come to Noor next, and Noor, tell me, how are things back home? Do you see travel picking up in Algeria anytime soon? How is it going there?
So actually, Algeria now is still partially in lockdown, so it's still crazy a little bit here, and we're not open yet, borders with like international traveling. So I think it would take a while before it happens, with numbers picking up as well. So international travel, I don't think it's going to happen anywhere near like this year. It's probably 2021, and I think in around like 1 month or 2 months, people would consider moving between cities, probably going to like cities that have beaches and etc. Even though it's been, like I said, a little bit crazy. And I think I'm going to have to join Engin and Nikki in what they said. It will be a little bit crazy. It would be, I think, that people would feel unsafe traveling internationally right now. They would probably think, oh, what if I travel and then something else happen and I will be stuck elsewhere, which has happened. And there's still people stuck elsewhere, like other than their countries. And so I think it would take a while for people to see, oh, things are safe, I can travel again, and probably consider traveling internationally. So local travel is absolutely going to be a thing in the next like 6-7 months.
Awesome. Coming to our Indian speaker, Reena. So it has not been a good week for India. We have had a major plane crash last night, and India is still under lockdown in most of the places. So obviously, we don't see a lot of travel happening soon. But I wanted to understand from you, in terms of local travel, India does offer a lot, and it's a huge country with very diverse offerings. So when do you think people will actually start traveling again in India? And if people are traveling locally, then a couple of destinations that comes to the top of your mind.
Just like you said, I myself started seeing actual bookings since July. So considering famous places, first of all, luckily, since we only deal with luxury travel, it is only the luxury resorts that people want to travel to at this point of time, because the safety features, the COVID measures need to be taken at this point of time. So south, north, west of India, these are the three places, and the famous ones where there's a lot of culture, palace hotels, backwaters, or places like Goa, which are fully resort oriented. And people have already been booking. Yes, last night was a tragedy. It was one of those things that was unforeseen. But people are really waiting to get out. Driving distances are good. We are under partial lockdown, so there's not much traffic. So it also tempts you to get out more. I mean, I'm seeing that from a lot of people. So, and yeah, like you again rightly said, we have so much to offer. In terms of nature, there is nothing that India does not have. You talk about any kind of topography, we are full of it. So people are already traveling. And for the next, at least for 2020, domestic tourism is going to take a big boost with all the properties which are opening up slowly in August, September. We are already seeing tourists open. There were hotels which came out with deals, and they were sold out before they knew it.
Yeah.
Shows that people want to travel, because it's been almost 4 months been in a lockdown. So yes,
Correct.
2020, yeah. And I am hoping that by first quarter of 2021, we will also start going into Asia. At least close by countries are looking at creating air bubbles already.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's happening.
That's very promising, and let's hope things get better real soon. So moving on quickly to our next question. I wanted to ask you all about So one thing that became very clear from all of your responses is something that local tourism and traveling to your backyard, exploring your own country is going to be the most doable thing post-COVID, right? So Engin, I'll come back to you. So if you have a couple of advice for travelers who are wanting to explore their own backyard, how should they start, or how should they go about it? Because a lot of people are making peace with the fact that you cannot travel internationally, you cannot travel in a flight anymore. So if someone has to start traveling into their backyard now, what are the 2-3 top key things that they should remember post-COVID?
Well, I'm a supporter of doing things in a weird and different way. So I will apply my advice in this as well. So if everyone goes to a destination or to a place at the weekends, for example, try to change your lifestyle, work style somehow to go there during weekdays when there is nobody. This kind of things, because as I said, it's again related to what I was saying. We have so many people all around the place, but the specific destinations are always crowded at certain times, certain days, or certain part of the year. So if you can do things opposite to what the majority of people are doing, you will be traveling much cheaper, because it will be lower season. Definitely, you will enjoy less crowds, and that would be my best advice. And then also optimizing, because I used to travel a lot spontaneously. I have been backpacking a lot without knowing where I will be sleeping the same day, or where I will be going to the next day, things like that. But I think with all these changes, this should change a little bit now for most of the people. If you optimize from like the distance of your accommodation to the airport, like there are many things that you can optimize to make most out of your travel by spending less time on the roads, let's say, or with crowds, and more time enjoying your destination, spending time with the local people. And yeah, and sustainability in travel will be a hot topic, which we can elaborate later on.
Sure. We will definitely come back and touch upon that, Engin. Thank you for this. Next, I will move on to Nikki again. Nikki, being in Paris, what would be your advice for people to start? Like you said, the locals are already looking at things in Paris which they have not explored or have taken for granted earlier, right? So if someone is looking to avoid the crowds and the most popular spots in Paris, what would you recommend them to look at? Is that a countryside visit that you would recommend, or how can they go about looking at Paris from a different lens?
So if we're talking about Paris today, I would say even Eiffel Tower is not as full as usual. So if you come to Paris today, I think you can go to all the biggest sites without having to confront it with many tourists. But for me, this is not really a goal, because those big sites will be crowded anyway. So maybe not today, but tomorrow. So my advice is, actually, this is also my agency we are working on, is to explore a greater Paris area. If we're only talking about Paris, but you know, in France, there are many more destinations. But if we're only talking about Paris, actually, when we talk Paris, Paris is a small city, because there is the ring road to enclose Paris. But outside this ring road, you have a much bigger area called Greater Paris. And in Greater Paris, we have Fontainebleau. Even Versailles is not inside Paris, it's outside Paris. It's in Greater Paris area. So historically speaking, there's a lot of royal park, the royal forest, which was the hunting place for the kings. But today, of course, there's no king anymore. So those forests is changed to the park for people to enjoy. So in the Greater Paris area, you have massive amount of the nature, the river, the castles, because a lot of people are really big fan of French castle, including myself. And there are places like the famous people, like really lettered people who lived. They all lived actually not inside Paris, but outside Paris. So this is exactly what we are proposing for the moment, to explore a greater area, the area that you have to break out something fixed in your mind to say Paris is just a Louvre, it's just maybe some several streets, but no, Paris is much larger than that. And those area is massively unknown, or is not really fully exploited yet. And this is destination can please both locals and international people, because they can see the traditional French beauty anyway. And for local, they see something new. For the international people, they will be amazed anyway.
Thank you for sharing the great insight, Nikki. Even I did not know so much about Greater Paris, so thank you for that. Noor, I wanted to ask you in terms of like you talked about traveling within the country and things like that, right? So in terms, if you have something to say to your fellow Algerians or anyone else who is coming into the country when there is a possibility of walking, like coming in to through the borders, what will be your couple of advices for post-pandemic travel for people who are traveling solo? How can they stay safe? How some basic tips that you can share with them?
Well, actually, I wanted to talk actually also about things you can do while traveling. I know that. Yeah. Actually, Algeria is the biggest country in Africa. So there's 48 cities, and only probably 5 or 6 of them are known for tourism. So if anyone wants to go travel, they would go to those big cities. And actually, one thing that changed my mind about the whole thing is that last year I had the projects to film in this like city in the middle of nowhere. It's a small city, not known for tourism at all. And I was supposed to stay there for 24 hours. And during those 24 hours, a local, he was like, you know what, I'm going to take you on a trip for 6 hours. You're going to go hike it and you're going to live one of the best experiences ever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went and I met some Bedouin people, which I didn't know existed in Algeria. I went, like, we hiked on top of this beautiful mountain. We've seen stone inscriptions, and there was a lot of history. So one advice you can do is do some research. Don't go for, the big cities where they're already known for travel. I think every city has something, every place has something special about it. The locals don't really probably value. And so this is where we need to look for bloggers, do some extra research and be like, what can I do here and what can I do there? And a lot of people share experiences. So try to do that because you can really be amazed. I think there's every city, every place on earth has something that makes it special, either whether it's history, food, people. So try to do that. And for safety measure, I think, for example, Algeria right now, it's not that safe. So try to do your research before coming or before going to any country. See what's the safety measures there. If the pandemic is controlled, yeah. I think that's what to consider doing. Yeah.
So I think one thing again that becomes very clear is obviously the government's role and safety measures will be very crucial going forward to support and promote any sort of travel. So Reena, coming to you, with the current situation in India, when do you actually see? Like you said, people will start traveling towards a couple of months maybe, and then in the first quarter of 2021 we will see international travel picking up. So I wanted to ask you about opportunities for local players that they can explore at this point of time. If someone is thinking of starting a travel business, or someone has a travel business which is finding it difficult to sustain through this time. So if there is any particular thoughts that you have for the Indian travel scenario and how domestic players can leverage this, if you could touch upon a little bit on that.
Okay, there are two sections here. One is people who want to get into travel and start travel. The second one is people who are already into travel but are struggling during this phase. Because a lot of us have been very focused on international travel, which is clearly not possible at this point of time. So in India, the plus point being, because of geography, culture, history, art, we don't just have accommodations and natural beauty, but we also have a lot of experiential travel that's possible. So if somebody wants to start at this point of time, I think they should focus more on the experiences, because that's still a slightly raw area where people have always been attracted to our nature, to our palaces, to the famous cities, which have been running all this while. But again, those places are likely to be slightly more crowded than the others. So the best thing to do is focus on experiences, because we have full of them. Like now there's wine tourism growing in India. Our food has always been very famous. There's so much on our local culture that's being tapped upon, which was not there before. So one must definitely focus on these things, because A, they are more isolated considering the current scenario. B, less explored, so definitely more special. Today's date, travel is all about exploring something that you did not expect out of a particular place. Like if I go to Paris, if I see an Eiffel Tower, that's something that I expected to do. But if I do something that is different, it is going to be more attractive to me.
Right.
Similar
Right.
in India, there are so many. I mean, it's a big country and it's best to stick to one part of the country. Like I've heard a lot of people when they want to come to India that, okay, I'm going to come to India in 15 to 20 days. I want to cover India. You can't even cover only North in 15, 20 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
Stick to just one part of the country and explore it for what it really is. Because we've got adventure, we've got nature, we've got food, we've got wine, and every section is known for something. So the best thing is to just focus on experiences. Everything else will just fall in place automatically.
Okay, that's some great insights, Reena. Taking this discussion, this line of conversation to Engin, like Reena said, experiences and curation of experiences will be the key for travel businesses who are looking to start post-pandemic travel. So again, what are the trends that you see in terms of curation? Like, is it more nature focused tours that will attract more travelers, or is it more handicraft and art and culture focused, or is it food? Like in your mind, what are the top 3 or 4 kind of local curations that travel businesses can do?
We all know that mass tourism has been very big for many years, and there has always been this authentic experiences, local experiences, more personalized suggestions going up, accelerating, and receiving more information recently. And with COVID, I think this will be even further. I think the key point is to have more local experiences, or connecting with local people. That's what I have been doing through all my travelers, staying in the houses of people and going to the very well-known places at last, or sometimes not going there, but spending time with locals, going around to going to places where they go. I think this is becoming more and more important these days, and this happens with better personalized suggestions from local people. So the idea is to get in contact with them, and this will be more exclusive travel. I think also the terminology is changing a little bit. What we used to know as exclusive travel was always associated with luxury. Like the more money you have, you stay in a 5-star or even upper standard hotels, and this was exclusive travel. I think even this concept is changing to be more in line with experiences, not in terms of luxury as we know, related with money, but more
richer experiences.
Yeah, richness in terms of experiences. I think this is the point, and with that, we can also support the local communities, and this is all like a chain reaction, which ends up as a sustainability in travel, economic-wise and ecologic-wise. But that's very important, I believe.
That's a beautiful point that you brought out, Engin. Taking that same point to Noor. Noor, how do you think what Engin said about sustainable travel and having more locals who are responsible about their places, to get them involved in these kind of curations? What is the possibility, and how do you see the world taking up to this idea?
Well, I think it's very important. I've seen a few startups doing that here in Algeria, where they create experiences in cities that are known, cities that are less known, and they work with local people. So for accommodation, they work with local guest houses. They get people to make the food, like local people. They encourage people to buy gifts if they want to, like handmade crafts, like things that express the area, especially like here in Algeria, we have a lot of traditional stuff that people can buy. So I think that's one way, and a cool way, like a good thing to do would be for also startups who are creating experiences to encourage the groups of people they are taking with them to also to work with local, businesses. That would be a great way to boost kind of the local economy as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Completely agree with you that on that. Nikki, coming to you, when you talk about a popular destination like France in general, right? What is the level of involvement that you see from the locals in terms of bringing back tourism? Are they yet open to the idea of having travelers come and stay at their homes or properties and things like that? And what is the level of involvement that you're seeing?
You mean the local people or local business? You mean local business?
I mean the local people who are running local businesses which are focused on tourism, and they have the scope to entertain and cater to a very different set of audience than they usually do, which is the international traveler. But right now, having been able to cater to local tourists, how are they going to react to that? Are they going to be open to an idea? What are you seeing in your visit?
Okay, so actually before, Paris is very, how to say, confronted by the mass tourism and over tourism. There are business, they are fully rely on mass tourism. For example, if you're a restaurant, you're next to Eiffel Tower, and you don't need to have a good service because you know you have customer anyway, and they are, so that is the downside of what people potentially don't like about Paris. They complain about the service, they complain people rude, complain people, take things for granted in terms of travel. But now I think this situation is changing. And this situation changing not only from bottom up, but also from top down. Because when your country, your tourism is such a major business, and to a day, like few months after, you don't have tourists anymore. So then you have to think how should I change it? And this is not only the local business or local person, individual person. This is a whole country. That's why the government also making a lot of effort on this to educate people to travel locally, and also they promote the concept that the local business and the local tourist and local traveler, they work together. So the local tourists, they support local business, and local business also have to adapt and also to provide better service to serve the people who already know more or less this culture, know the language, know the culture, and know the background. So this is a effort from both sides. For example, French government also launched something called the Sachdev visit la France. It means in English, it means this summer I visit France. So it's very, very big line. You can see this sign in many public streets in the big wall that remind people that don't go very far. It's better to travel inside your country.
Right.
So that's an effort on both sides.
No, that's commendable, and obviously what you said so rightly, that local businesses which are catering to local people and they have been doing mass business for all this while have now the chance to think about how to up their business, how to impress people who are close by, right? So that's such an interesting point. I wanted to take this point to Reena also. This will be our last question that we'll be sharing around the table, and then we will open up the questions from the audience. So attendees, whoever is listening to us, please put in your questions in the question box on the right hand side, and we will try and allocate it to each of the speakers so that all of your questions get answered. So Reena, taking the conversation from Nikki, the need for upping your services, the need for doing better what you have been doing is something that I have personally face the need for it when traveling locally in India. So what do you think businesses should prioritize in terms of providing better service? That's one. And the second question that I had for you is, what do you think the government's role is going to be, and what are the 2-3 most crucial areas where you see the government coming hand in hand to help support local entrepreneurs and help them earn economic benefits out of tourism post the pandemic?
The best part about COVID has been that right from the lower level, we've understood the importance of hygiene, which was always a big question mark for inbound tourism. That, okay, how is it going to be like? And this is automatically resolved right now. Plus, people are exploring their own country. Thanks to the lockdown, a lot of people who were not focused on their own surroundings have started doing that, including our government. So we've got the campaign Dekho Apna Desh, where now they're taking it very seriously because they've understood that there's a swelled up amount of travel which is not happening outside the country anymore. But that does not mean they don't want to travel, and we have so much ourselves here. So luckily, because things were shut, things were revamped well. There were places were empty. They had time to look back, focus that, okay, we can highlight this. I see CEOs of companies, because they were locked down, exploring their own cities. There were so many monuments in Bombay that I did not know of, in spite of staying here. So the government as well as the people are completely focused on highlighting what they have right now, because they've had the opportunity to sit back and have a real look at things in all this free time. So hygiene is one thing that's being taken care of. Focusing on our offbeat destinations, which we have plenty. It's so big. I mean, there were so many cities, so many experiences. I did not know we are so big on birds.
Yeah. You would be surprised, like what diverse kind of qualities Indian travelers have, and it's really wonderful to see that people are going to places that were not on the map before, or were not so popular. Like you think of places like Bundi in Rajasthan, where these are coming on the map right now, right? So yeah, coming to the government's role. So as you know, there are statewide lockdowns and different rules across everywhere, but so far the efforts have been in place, and those who need to travel essentially can get a pass and move around different states. So would you say the government is doing enough in terms of promoting local travel in these times, or can there be more action? Anything that you feel?
I just say that there could be better speed, which I again don't blame them for, because every day the situation changes. Like every state has its own quarantine rules. Every state has its own regulations. Like because since I said we've been doing bookings, so every time before confirming a booking, we needed to check the quarantine rules of the particular state that we're sending people to, whether it is accessible by road, by air, if you get in, what's the scenario like. But I would say it's quite commendable the way they are trying to cope up with our kind of population and the situation, that, every state is taking the right measures now to make sure that, there is no further spread of the pandemic. And I think only a speed factor, like every day, which again is a very subjective thing, because
it takes time to get mobilize these things.
So I would still say they're doing a pretty good job considering our country.
Great. Engin, I wanted to talk to you about government support, because you are working in two different countries, Turkey and Spain. Are there any specific challenges you are facing, or you have known some other local business to have faced with government regulations? And if there is anything that you want to add to that?
Well, I can speak about Barcelona, which I am partly living in, and which is one of the most popular destinations in the world. And I have been in a lot of meetings with local institutions, with people from tourism industry. And what they are trying to do is, as we have all been talking the last half an hour, concentrating not on the city center, but the surroundings. That is an initiative that they have been doing, because in the end, most people go to where you want them to go. So we are all very easily manipulated. If they promote a destination which we didn't hear about before, we will be going there. That's how humans work. So one action is that they should be promoting it that way, because of over tourism in the city centers. And the second, for example, which I know, that Barcelona, the Catalonia local government, they are also promoting companies in tourism area, like financially. in order to help them to some extent, at least, not to cover all their losses, of course, but to some extent that they are not dead. So when these things finish, hopefully soon, and they can still go on. So it's twofold.
Great. That's great to hear. Noor, coming to you, what is the kind of government support do you usually see in Algeria in terms when it comes to local and domestic travel? And if there is any specific area that you would like to highlight?
Actually, domestic travel is not something the government have been trying to promote a lot. Let's say there's only probably the tourism towards the desert, and neither international travel, because there's always problem with people getting visas. But there's been a discussion, especially this year, about probably making electronic visa for everyone, international travel, but also I think there's a lot of campaigns coming, working with content creators, and then tourism startups, and how we can all work together to promote local tourism, because a lot of people, and I think it's the case for many other places, a lot of people would consider going to Europe. So now that they can't go anywhere, I think there's a way to tell them, hey, there's a lot to do in your own country, there's a lot to experience, so why don't you do that? And I think the campaigns will start after the coronavirus is controlled in Algeria. So that's a cool thing to see the government trying to work on that. And hopefully and I'm sure it will work.
Great. That's good to hear, and there's definitely hope for doing better. Nikki, we have already discussed a little bit about government support in Paris, and obviously Paris being such a popular city, there's a lot happening there in terms of the tourism board as well. So I wanted to ask you one last question, which we can wrap up with some quick inputs from everyone on. So being a content creator myself, and we have Noor as well, who talked about using content creators and influencers to create the right word about traveling locally. So Nikki, what is your thought on this? Do you think influencers add value to creating the right kind of knowledge about a place that is rather unknown? And are you a believer of this, and how do you see it working for working in favor of local?
Yes, sure. So I do see it, because myself, I cannot say I'm a content creator because I'm not very famous on Instagram, but I do follow a lot of those influencers and who do post very valuable information on daily basis. It's not only sometimes can be very detailed. They can talk about one bakery, and to talk about, come and see how the baker bake a certain bread. It sometimes can be very in detail, but all this information is really attracting people to look at something differently, to find a new business in your own country, and to find out the hidden gems, to find out something like you don't know about. And I follow a lot of them. I think they have a real influence on this subject, and I do really discover many things thanks to them. So as I am someone who professionally in this industry, and you can think about the people who just who just a normal traveler, who just a normal residents, and they may also find out a lot of things. So they give them another dimension, another type of imagination, another type of expectation on the local business, on your own environment, your own country, and what I can do, what I can think of. So I think this is very important. And I know some of the influencers, they also work with the government to make the campaign together.
Correct.
So yeah.
So thank you so much for shedding light on that. And everyone, we are at the end of our session, and we have some questions from the audience that we will be taking next. So I have a question here for the panel. So the question goes, should the local travel be taken to rural areas? Will it be affecting their livelihood, or will the lack of awareness be a barrier for the same? So Sumit is asking this question and saying, lack of awareness becoming a barrier for local travel. So Reena, I would like you to share some thoughts on that.
I think at this point of time, rural tourism is good because, like I said, the hygiene standards have gone up, which I have personally seen. So it's quite safe because that was the only barrier before. Plus, the real beauty definitely of any country lies in the interiors. So it would be a good place to go to. Again, not too crowded, which is what we need at this point of time. And the exposure is obviously better for them more than us when we are traveling, and the experience is definitely very, very good. And thanks to this time, we will actually be exposing ourselves to areas which should have been traveled to much before, but because we had so many options to go outside our own country, we never really bothered to look within. So now this is actually going to be an opportunity for us and them together to explore what we have. And eventually, when the world opens up, it's only going to boost that tourism people will have when they come here, because India is known for its rural areas a lot. But we have to see the positive side of it now. And this is the time when we can actually exploit that.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Engin, coming to you, I have a question from Bhagya asking, organizers and hosts will be having to take care of the extra costs for hygiene maintenance. So how do you think it will impact the overall cost on guests and travelers going forward?
Well, it's a really serious point, an important point. I think travel will not be as cheap as before. And me coming from like the backpacking lifestyle, I'm used to traveling as a backpacker for many years, and I know many people. But now it will be a bit difficult to travel in a low budget, because this will obviously reflect to the prices of the hotels, to airline companies and everything. We will obviously see a rise in that, but this will at least bring in some extra quality. So we will be paying more, but we will be receiving better standards, and it will create some threshold, in the whole industry. So any restaurant, any hotel, any company in travel industry which doesn't keep at least the minimum basic standards will be out of business. Definitely will be out of business. No one will go there, I think, more than before. So overall, it's a good thing. We will pay more and we will get better service.
Sure, there will be more fragmentation and categorization of things that is already in place. And like you said, some will go out and some newer ones will come in with better benchmark standards and things like that, right? Yeah, great. Thank you for that. Noor, I have one question for you. So local people who are engaged with the travel industry currently are facing financial problems. How do you think it will be beneficial for them, because there is social distancing and other norms to follow? So even if you are running a local business and you have gone through a major financial trouble because of all these months of no travel, if there are two things that you can highlight in terms of what ways they can cope with this and remain in business, that will be nice.
I think one of the things people can do and should consider is consider taking their businesses online. That's one way about it. Not everyone can do it, of course. If you're a guest house, it would be more difficult. If you are I don't know, a restaurant, for example. But if you're a handcraftsman, someone who makes gifts, you can technically take it online. So I would say that for restaurants, guest houses, hotels, it would be a good way would be to connect with content creators and see how both can work together to promote a destination, a city, or that specific work, or probably many people from one area can come together and create a campaign I've seen that work many times. I know a lot of people trust the people who follow, or like the content creators they read, or who they watch videos of. And so trying to create experiences, authentic experiences, and promote that city, and then indirectly promoting different businesses all at once. I think that would definitely help businesses.
Great, great. So I think that's the end of our audience questions as well. I think all of you were lovely, and with the kind of perspectives we got in this session from all of you across different parts of the world was quite amazing. I myself learned a lot, and I am honestly looking forward to travel happening soon again, and I definitely hope we get to meet in person someday. Thank you everyone for joining this session. The next sessions will be on the social lounge, and you can just exit from here and attend any other session that you like. If you have any questions for our speakers, you can write to us on globaltravelmeet@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to get back to you with the questions. We have tried answering all the questions that came in the chat box, but if you still have any specific questions, you can find our speaker profiles on the page, and you can reach out to them individually and ask them any questions that you may have about local and domestic travel. Thank you everyone for joining in. It's a lovely Saturday, and there are many more sessions to come up at Global Travel Meet today. And I hope you all enjoyed this session. I hope you enjoyed the questions and being with me here. Thank you everyone. And that is, if there is a couple of words you would like to say before we wrap this up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure to be with everyone.
And thank you for having us. And I think now it's time really to open our eye and to see our surroundings. And this is the time to find the local beauty, no matter you're in India, in China, or in France.
Cheers to that.
So looking forward to travel very soon, and thank you everyone. You can find us on the social lounge, I think, and I'm ready to answer any further questions.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for joining in. See you another time.